If you embarrass these people, you're going to see a brain drain at this company, my brother. Markla took you off the Lisa, not them and not me, so don't...
Markla took me off the Lisa because of his strong religious objection to making it good. He knew that he had met somebody special when he met Wozniak, and he knew that Wozniak, I think, was going to be a vehicle for him to sort of, you know, get into this business. Because I think Steve Jobs was a great salesman, I think he was a great negotiator, and he was a great observer of talent.
Action!
The structure is so cinematic and, you know, that it almost, and so different from a normal, you know, biographical movie that it almost eliminates it from even having to be real life in my head. You know, it's like, clearly this didn't happen. I mean, it's obviously the 40 minutes before every speech he had this, you know, an arc that with all these, you know, same-sex people. I mean, maybe they were all there, maybe he had interactions with them, but I don't for a second think that this actually happened, and I don't think anyone does. I think it's a brilliant way of portraying 30 years of history by, you know, over the course of 3 kind of moments.
The cavalry's shown up.
Well, because I hear you've been worse than usual this morning, I didn't think that was possible. So I've been dispatched as the Steve Whisperer. This is a 55 Margot.
It's 9 in the morning.
This is a 55 Margot.
This story is important because he's changed all of our lives. He's changed the way the world works, the way we communicate to one another, the way we interact with one another, how, like I say, we watch films now, how we listen to music. How we buy things. So somebody that has that sort of influence deserves to be reflected on.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Action.
Steve Jobs.
Yeah!
I read the script and it is a starburst of a script. I mean, it is like, takes your breath away. I mean, obviously there's so many things you could think about at that point, reasons not to do it, you know, like, which are all to do with being careful. Should you really be doing, you know, a film about a person like this, a controversial person like this, with many people with different opinions, and there'll be family and all those kind of stuff. We've been through some of that on 127 Hours that we've done, the problems of doing true stories, if you call them that. But actually, you read the script and it felt like you would be crazy not to do it. It was extraordinary. It was something, I'd never done anything like it before. The challenges that it gave you were staggering, and it took on the idea that Sorkin had begun with Social Network, which is to look at these people who create this modern world, and that we are talking about the forgers of the world we're living in. We're only just really beginning to live in it now. And the people who create this world for us, and what cost has that had for them, and what can we learn about them by our artists like Sorkin.
But this is the moment really where you're going to bring the event forward and introduce the modern age, really, which is basically what it does.
There's a musicality to Aaron's writing, to all the great writers over the decades, centuries. You go back to Shakespeare, there's a musicality. The good ones, there's a music to it. And once you find the music, the rhythm that Aaron has written in there, it just sings. His scripts just sing. I remember when we did the reading of the script way back during rehearsals before we started shooting, and you heard Michael and Kate and everyone, just Seth, everyone just jumping in, and suddenly it was like this orchestra that they were all playing in the same key, but they were all talking at once, and this would come and that would happen, and there were no ad libs, and you know, it reminded me of the things that Aaron's written. It certainly reminded me of Newsroom, and it was great to hear. There's a music to what he writes.
Very good. Timing at the front.
Bang on. I was like, wow.
it was like, we'll never ever get it like that.
Oh, I believe that. Please, you have to tell me why it's so important for it to say hello.
When you hear that a film is being made that is 180 pages long with very few actors in it, written in 3 acts by Aaron Sorkin, being directed by Danny Boyle with Michael Fassbender playing the lead, you do everything you can to get yourself cast in that movie. I was very excited by, quite honestly, I think the whole package of what it was. I knew the writing was going to be incredible. I knew that it would be thrilling to work with Danny, who I'd never worked with before. The idea of standing in the same room with Michael Fassbender was enough to make me want to faint, let alone work with him. And also I was intrigued by the notion that this wasn't a biopic, and it really isn't. It doesn't focus on his illness. It really only features one member of his family, his daughter Lisa, and it covers 3 specific periods in his life, covering the launch of 3 different products during his working life.
You're doing both. You're moving me off the Mac and phasing it out. Yes. The best modern day script I've read, for sure.
Very, very lovely. What did you do? You were riding at that spot on a long lens looking that way.
Yeah, I think Danny is without doubt the most positive and energetic director that I've ever worked with. He's just constantly upbeat on set and constantly positive and encouraging and, as I say, full of energy. And I think he injects that same positivity and energy in his sort of visual storytelling, in the sort of energy he puts into the camera.
God, you people were great. You're right, it is.
Mark A.
Michael's really making sure that he tells the truth with Steve Jobs, that he really tries to get to the core of why Steve did this and why he did that. It's certainly not an impression, and nor is it intended to be, but the truth is there.
Let's do one more, please. Thanks, guys.